Just off the Georgia coast sits a barrier island unlike any other. 11,000 acres that includes a 20-acre lodge compound. The rest is wilderness for exploring. This is Little St. Simon's Island.
Our focus is on getting people back out to the wilderness, enjoying the outdoors, learning more about how we manage this beautiful place and make sure it stays something that people can enjoy the same way it's always been for years to come.
Visiting this private island, an island where only 32 guests can spend the night, is like walking back in time.
So the lack of human alterations, I think, that's really set this place apart. So many of the islands were farmed historically or had other development or other impacts, but Little St. Simon's has had a history of very few impacts. So what you see here today is really similar to what we think the first Spanish explorers saw in the 15 and 1600s on the Georgia coast.
Don't let part of the name fool you. This is not St. Simon's Island, and a trip here is nothing like a trip there.
Completely different. St. Simon's is more like a resort town. You know, they've got the village, they've got restaurants and hotels and a built-up more kind of beach, and we are not that. We are not where you come if you want a beach vacation, like in the traditional sense. Where you come if you want to go on an adventure for your vacation. So we are a lot more wilderness. We don't spray for mosquitoes, so the mosquitoes are a big thing here. We tend to get people who are more outdoors and active enthusiasts than people who just want to lay on a beach.
There is a beach on Little St. Simon's. In fact, it's 7 miles long. If you've ever wanted a totally private day on the beach, Little St. Simon's is your spot. On a trip to this beach, chances are you won't encounter another person. That is, unless there's a naturalist activity going on.
As a naturalist, my job is to take guests on the island out to experience the island on guided adventures. So we do a lot of fishing, bird watching, kayaking, trips to the beach, talks in the barn, a little bit of everything, a little bit of learning, a little bit of adventure.
A trip to Little St. Simon's is about great adventure. It's watching birds feed their young in Norm's Pond. It's about sailing at the beach to see what wildlife lurks just below the surface. It's about fishing. It's about kayaking. It's about unearthing and inventorying a sea turtle nest a few days after hatching. It's about experiencing nature like never before.
So we have our giant hibiscus out in one of our freshwater wetlands tucked away into the forest, and there is no trail to get there, which is very fun. It's a little adventure every time we go, but with a little bit of bushwhacking through the woods, you suddenly come out into this beautiful open area where you're surrounded by like 8-foot tall, gigantic pink flowers, and is just magical. It's something you kind of have to experience in person to really get the full effect, but they're only blooming for maybe 6 weeks or so.
Naturalist activities are offered twice daily, with a mini activity offered every other night, like holding and learning about a king snake. The activities are included with the stay on Little St. Simon's. What else is included? The food.
Then dinner is, again, going to be just that family-style, traditional things. I mean, you'll see like roast beef, a lot of fish and seafood. I mean, obviously, that's the ocean. Yeah, so we have a lot of local seafood. You know, shrimp, oysters are always great around here. And then the dessert, always a dessert.
Kevin Vanderay should know about the desserts. He's competed in Cupcake Wars on the Food Network, winning 3 times, including the show's grand championship. He's responsible for creating the scones, trail bars, cookies, and all the desserts guests on the island get to enjoy.
You know, so all those desserts that my Aunt Ruby brought to the family reunion, they're showing up on the table here at Little St. Simon's.
In the Little St. Simon's Island dining room is where we encountered the Rosens, 3 generations of them.
We wanted something that all 3 of us could do and appeal to 3 different age groups, but also be able to do it all together. And so having the flexibility of being on a boat or go kayaking or trips on the truck has been really wonderful for all of us to be included in.
The eldest celebrated her 97th birthday on the trip.
The time we've been able to spend together is wonderful. I treasure every moment I get with my mom and my grandmother, and I think Little St. Simon's offers an opportunity to do that without all of the distractions of wherever you may normally live, which is Atlanta for me, and I think a lot of viewers, probably Atlanta as well. No TVs, Wi-Fi if you need it, but otherwise really get to connect with your loved ones and the beautiful nature around you.
While the trip was all about celebrating a birthday and family time, whether they realized it when they booked it or not, the trip was about conservation too.
There maybe fewer people understand that by staying at the lodge, you're supporting conservation. People that come here are supporting the work of the Center for Coastal Conservation, and that impacts what happens here at Little St. Simons with our habitats and wildlife, and it influences what's going on the whole Georgia coast.
Little St. Simons is open year-round with different seasons, bringing totally different adventures for guests. Stays include lodging, food and non-alcoholic drinks, naturalist activities, bikes, boat transportation to and from St. Simons, and more.
And it's just been a fantastic, wonderful family time, environmental time. Food has been fantastic. The service has been amazing. I just cannot praise everything here enough. It's a wonderful place.
For Access Travel, I'm Nelson Hicks.